Today we will continue with English. Chapter 7 Fair Play with Part 3. So children, I request you all, please open your English textbook page number 88. So children, in the first and second part we have seen about the friendship between Juman and Algu Chaudhary, and when Juman was having the case in the panchayat, Algu was the head of the panch and he decided to give justice to his aunt, Juman's aunt, and that was and from this decision Juman became very angry and he became enemy. He wanted to take revenge with Algu, and now in this part 3 we will continue this. Days passed and as ill luck would have it, Algu Chaudhary found himself in a tight spot. One of his fine pair of bullocks died, and he sold the other to Samju Sahu, a cart driver of the village. The understanding was that Sahu would pay the price of the bullock in a month's time. It so happened that the bullock died within a month. So children, in the ninth paragraph, it is said that after some days passed and it was become very difficult time for Algu Chaudhary, and that time he has lost his pair of bullocks and because they died, and another pair he sold to Samju Sahu, and within a month he have to pay to Algu Chaudhary, but it was accidentally that bullock died within a month. Next paragraph see. Several months after the bullock's death, Algu reminded Sahu of the money he hadn't yet paid. Sahu got very annoyed. I can't pay you a penny for the wretched beast you sold me. He brought us nothing but ruin. I have a bullock. Use it for a month and then return it to me. No money for the dead bullock, he said angrily. After this, see, several months after Bullock's death, Algu reminded Sahu to pay the money for the bullock. But that time Sahu became very angry and he said that I have a bullock, you use 1 month and afterwards return it, because your bullock was not proper, not healthy, and I did not get anything from your bullock. Within a month it died. So no money for the dead bullock. Paragraph 11. Algu decided to refer the case to the panchayat. For a second time in a few months, preparations for holding the panchayat were made, and both the parties started meeting people seeking their support. So after this condition, Algu decided, because he have sold his bullock to Sahu, but he was not agreed to pay the money, because he said that your bullock died in a month, I will not pay. So for this case, for getting justice, he decided to refer the case to the panchayat, and again for a second time in a few months this panchayat preparation was going to start, and both the parties have started to getting the support of the village people. Algu decided to refer the case to the panchayat. So after that this all have set, and Algu decided that the preparation for holding the panchayat were made, and both the parties started to get the support of villagers. Now see the next page. The panchayat was held under the old banyan tree. Algu stood up and said, the voice of the panch is the voice of the god. Let Sahu nominate the head panch. I will abide by his decision. So again the same old banyan tree, under the old banyan tree this all have set up, and Alku stood and said that the voice of the punch is the voice of God, and let Sahu nominate any head punch. I will abide by his decision. See the 13th paragraph. Sahu saw his chance and proposed the name of Jumman. Alku's heart sank and he turned pale. But what could he do? Now, Sahu, when Alku was standing in the punch, that time Sahu also was there against him, and Sahu know that Jumman and Alku both friendship broken, and that time he took a chance and said Jumman's name to be a head of the punch. Next paragraph. The moment Jumman became head punch, he realized his responsibility as judge and the dignity of his office. Could he, seated in that high place, have his revenge now? He thought and thought. So children, here in the first part, when this both condition was going on, that time Algu was in the head punch, and when Algu was at the high place, he did not decide, he was deciding only honest decision, right? And this the same when Jumman was on the same place, that time he was thinking that I am here as a judge, so I don't have to give any revenge. And afterwards what he thought, he thought and thought that what I will do I have to take revenge, or then what he decided, no, he must not, see the next page, allow his personal feelings to come in the way of speaking the truth and doing justice. And he decided that I don't have to keep my personal feelings on this place, and he have to take decision about justice. See the next paragraph. Both Algu and Sahu stated their cases. They were cross examined and the case was considered deeply. Then Jumman stood up and announced it. It is our opinion that Sahu should pay Algu and price of the bullock. When Sahu bought the bullock, it suffered from not disability or disease. The death of the bullock was unfortunate, but Algu cannot be blamed for it. Algu could not contain his feelings. He stood up and said loudly over and over again, "Victory to the Panchayat, this is justice. God lives in the voice of the punch." And when Algu decided, Algu and Sahu were stated their explained their case, and after that Jumman have given his decision as a head punch that Sahu have to give money for the bullock, because when Algu have sold the bullock to him, that time it was very healthy and good. So after the within a 1 month death of the bullock, that was not the reason of Algu. Algu cannot be blamed for it, and that is why that time Algu could not contain his feelings, and he became very happy, and he stood up and said loudly in the punch that victory to the Panchayat, this is justice, God lives in the voice of the punch. Soon after Jumman came to Algu, embraced him and said, "Since the last Panchayat I had become your enemy, today I realize what it meant to be a punch. A punch has no friend nor enemy. He knows only justice. Let no one divide from the path of justice and truth for friendship or enmity." So after the Panchayat, Jumman came to Algu and he embraced him and said, "From the last Panchayat we were enemy, but today I realize, because Jumman also was the same place as Algu, that a punch has no friend or nor enemy, and he knows only justice." And afterwards Algu also embraced his friend and wept and his tears washed away all the dirt of misunderstanding between them. And after this incident, they both become again very close friends because they both Juman also understood that what is the misunderstanding between them, and after this they both become very good friends. Children, we will discuss now the meanings of this chapter. Number 1, grudged, give, unwilling, felt, angry or unhappy about giving. Number 2, make it up, stop quarreling or come to an agreement with. 3, mum, quiet or silent. 4, seldom, rarely. 5, tight spot, difficult situation. 6, divide, move away from, live. Question 1, answer the following questions. Number 1, when Juman's aunt realized that she was not welcome in his house, what agreement did she suggest? Answer, Juman's aunt could not bear insults anymore. She wanted to cook her food separately. She demanded monthly allowance from her nephew. Question 2, what was the villagers' reaction when the aunt explained her case to them? Answer, the old woman went to several villagers. Some showed sympathy, but some laughed at her. A few others advised her to make peace with Juman. Question 3, why was Juman happy over Algu's nomination as head punch? Answer, Algu and Juman were best friends, so Juman hoped to get the verdict in his favor. Naturally, he felt happy when the aunt named Algu to act as head punch. Question 4, what did Algu consider more valuable than friendship? Answer, Algu heard the voice of his conscience. He put justice much about his personal friendship. Question 5, what did Juman suddenly realize? Answer, Juman suddenly realized that as a judge, it was his moral duty to be fair and justice. 6. What was Juman's verdict as head punch? How did Algu take it? Answer, Juman's verdict was that Sahu would have to pay the price of bullock to Algu. When Sahu purchased the bullock from Algu, it was whole and hearty. This was a genuine decision. Algu took it happily and said it was victory of the panchayat. So children, learn and write all the meanings and question answers in your English classwork notebook. In the next video, we will discuss other exercise of this chapter. Till then, copy all the meanings and question answers and learn it well. Thank you.